The story of my life remains written on these pages, but my fate has always been my own. Every deed, every choice, every person I met made me what I am. Could I have taken a different path? Could I have found a different calling? Altered the very course of history? And what price would I have to pay?
Greetings, fellow YouTubers, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. We are now continuing the story of Bran Brante. We are now starting chapter 2, Adolescence, and we will see where it gets us. You've lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life grows more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now that realm is expanding. It also includes your neighborhood, the nearby houses, the streets of the ancient city of Anizot. A question now looms over you, growing more pressing with each passing year. What will your place be in this vast outside world? Few people in the blessed Arcnian Empire trouble themselves with this question. It is not within a man or woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by their birth and those who bore them. Not quite, but we will see about that. And yet, your peculiar birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, and your sky is ablaze day and night with the light of the shining pillar, the beacon of the clergy. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Will you accept the drudgery and suffering that is the lot of the lowborn for your entire life? Hell no! I've promised before the faces of the twins in the house of faith that I shall rise above my humble beginnings. Will you follow in the footsteps of your father and your father's father and fight for the right to serve the empire as a noble of the mantle? Perhaps will you follow the twin god's word and offer spiritual guidance to others? The answer lies out there in that vast, terrifying world. Nice. So, previously on Sir Brante, one major event we triggered in the first chapter, our childhood, is the fencing lesson. We dared to study fencing, the noble art of swordplay, which naturally only nobles are allowed to study. And still, we started to study it too, even though we were born a lowly commoner. Nonetheless, we have more special events awaiting us in this chapter, and I hope they will be really exciting. I don't want to go into any detail right now. I kind of know what to expect, having played this game several times, but I don't want to spoil anything, and I don't know yet what precise actions will I do and what precise choices will I make. Okay, the going down the street. The family expects more and more of you as you grow up. The teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes all the time. Your life these days is dedicated to studying for your future, for the future of the Brante family. Your younger brother Nathan, there he is, our grateful little brother, keeps growing up too. He can hold a conversation now, you never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. It is a rainy day today. Father and mother have gone to a ball, and they left Nathan in your care. You lose track of time over the books in the sitting room, and Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Soon you hear his voice begging you to come outside. He is on the porch, sobbing, all covered in dirt. Okay, brother, what happened? It's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. I said I'll call my brother. He is still there. You have to go punish him, Bran. Um, whoa. This guy is beefy. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house further down the street where the poorer artisans lived. Artisans. I think it's artisans. You see two boys lingering there on the porch. They are clearly both commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way, just like him. The other looks older, almost your age, but he is more broad-shouldered and taller. His name is Thomas. You've heard it before. There, Bran, that's him! Thomas grins and rolls up his sleeves to reveal strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labor for quite some time. Listen up, rich boys. We don't give a damn about you or your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fights with people who can throw him in the mud. Your hands clench into fists before you react. Nathan called them names first. No wonder they did the same. That's how it goes. But pushing your brother into a ditch is too much. Thomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. Suddenly, you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn your head to see Nathan, the one who started the whole mess. Okay, so here we can start to establish more adult qualities of Bran Brante. We can beat the shit out of Thomas. We can say our brother is to blame and behave cunningly with ingenuity. We can resolve this matter peacefully, try to reason with Thomas and avoid a fight. Or, seeing as Nathan is grateful to us and we have a genuinely strong bond with him, we can listen to him first. That's what I'm going to do. I think Nathan is worth listening to. He keeps tugging me on my sleeve harder and harder. Okay, what is it? Don't fight him, please. Look, he's huge. Let's go home. Who cares about them? You're all sweaty. Are you gonna listen to your little brother and walk away like a coward? All you rich boys are chickens. You do nothing but squawk, but when the push comes to shove, you run home to mommy. Now he's done it. My patience has run out. I swing at Thomas and he jumps back, surprised by my assault. It takes him a moment to compose himself, but now he's ready. His fists cover his face and he attacks me with a quick jab. Now it is my turn to take a step backward. We start trading blows, huffing and puffing with rage, the younger brothers gawk in awe at the sight. Thomas does not resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fists aim for my head. I keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him. He takes a couple of glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. This guy is tough. Like any commoner should do if he wants to survive, I imagine. I start swinging my fists with greater and greater fury. My heart is pounding like a hammer. I see nothing but the foe in front of me. How much longer will this take? I'm worn out. My breath goes ragged, but there's no way I can give up. Nathan is watching me. I have to be an example to my little brother. Desperate and out of options, I swing and punch Thomas square in the nose, then immediately let his fist smack me in the temple. Oh. So, I guess we no longer want to fight it out because we are both injured. I am dizzy from a blow to my head, and Thomas has blood dripping from his nose. Then suddenly we hear an angry shout right next to us. An enraged man in a craftsman apron is shaking his fist. Thomas' face contorts in terror. It's my father! Run! Oh shit! The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the mere prospect of that makes me run like the wind. Thomas sprints in front of me. I dash across the rotten wooden planks of a back alley, up and over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, and then forward into the tall grass. We hide there and stay quiet. We exchange glances with Thomas and start laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. I'm gonna get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating. And then he'll start nagging me about the lots and the prayers for days like he always does. Why do I always get myself mixed up in this stuff? But fighting is the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? Look, our old folks didn't see us fighting. All we have to do now is convince them that we weren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? My mother gets nosebleeds all the time. Well, we could try it. Let's hope our little brothers don't tell on us. I'll talk to mine. Yeah, there's a scratch on your head. Don't let them see it. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There. Good as new. Look, Nathan will never tell. He's a good boy at heart, and I'll make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed into a ditch again. I shake hands with Thomas. His handshake is as strong as I expect, based on his fists. We make our way out of the tall grass, and we need to leave before Thomas' father goes to my family and complains about me breaking my lot, that is, fighting. I am not allowed to fight. Hey, I had no idea the place where we were hiding even existed. Thomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know lots of places like that. I'll tell you what, if we get out of this mess today, I'll show you the way to the old fortress wall. It's the perfect place to build your own fort. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build it all alone. My brother never helps. He just gets in the way. So we emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret unity only the two of us know. It seems I've made a friend today. Okay, we raised our family unity because we listened to Nathan first, and we have made a friend, a boy named Thomas Guerra, the son of the craftsman. Riders on the road. It is blistering hot today, even for the sun-parched land of Magra. Magra is our province. There it is. This is our home city of Anizot. Okay, as soon as I am done with my studies, I dash outdoors and out of the stuffy room. Me and Thomas roll up our short sleeves, but it barely helps. We would gladly go shirtless had we only been in the company of other boys, but there are three girls in the yard today. Girls. They are doing the laundry in a big wash tub, whispering and giggling. If I could, I would gladly keep watching one of them at work. She has big eyes of deep blue. Her dark hair is braided, and her plain grey dress is mended and patched all over. Her name is Sophia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of the sun are reflected in her eyes. Me, Thomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories, anything to make her laugh. You sure love telling tall tales, Bran. Oh, I remember this one time, but when Sophia hears a voice calling her home, she nods to me, and runs across the street smiling. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking elsewhere. But when a stone on the road catches her foot, she stumbles and falls flat into the dust. The street starts shaking from the thundering of hooves. Riders appear on the road from around the corner. They bear a coat of arms I recognize right away, a sable serpent blade upon a field of bird. It symbolizes the Milanides dynasty, the family of my province's archduke, the highest feudal overlord of my province. The horses dash forward. A lost wooden toy on the road cracks under their hoofs. They will not slow down. They are the nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Sophia is in the way, just now starting to get back on her feet. Her mother is crying for her desperately from behind the fence door. I freeze in terror. The riders surely see the girl. Are they going to stop? No. They are going to trample her. In only a few moments, the beautiful girl will be toppled, trampled, and crushed. We can stay where we are, but we also can shield Sophia from the horses. We are brave enough to do this. And we will suffer our first lesser death. The game will explain to us what it means in a moment. The thing is, Bran Brante doesn't know anything about lesser deaths yet, so he hasn't died a single time. He hasn't died a single time before. So I'm gonna shield this girl from the horses, fully expecting to be a goner, fully expecting to die for good. That's what I'm going to do. I throw myself blindly into the road, swinging my arms while whoa, stop! Guys, stop! Dazed by the sound of the thundering hooves, I can see nothing in the dust. For a brief moment, the horses slow down, just long enough for Sophia to get back on her feet and flee to the roadside. But then the riders dig their spurs in. Dozens of hooves knock me off my feet and roll across my body. My bones crack, break, and crumble. My ears are ripped apart by the thundering rhythm of the ride. My innards are pulverized. The last thing I remember is the sound of my own skull caving in. First death. I fall into a pain that embraces me like a soft feather bed. I feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelopes me in its secure embrace. The waves carry me, the touch is soft. It is a feeling unlike anything I have ever experienced before, something absolute and complete. I touch something greater, the reason behind everything, the reason for my very existence. I was sculpted here, from this light. It was the first thing I ever felt, a boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. My beginning was a spark that cast this light in all directions, and now I am here again, one with the beginning of everything. The light gleaming from me resembles the light of a shining pillar. The waves of light carry me to two figures. The elder is nearest. He is ready to accept me. He is quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. I do not know what he is yet. The elder leans over me and plants a featherlight kiss on my forehead. The kiss spreads all over me. I am filled with unparalleled delight and bliss. I exist. I am unique. There is no one else like me. They know this, and they love me. I will never be alone. I am a part of the gods, a part of my family, a part of this universe. The twin gods will never leave me. They watch over me constantly. The elder softly touches me as I lie spread out amongst the waves, sending me further down the torrent of light. I float on to the top of the silver tree's spreading crown. The closer I get to the silver tree, the heavier I become. I do not wish to part with the warmth and the softness, with the love. The elder is still watching me. He nods. All is as it should be. Go. Your time has not yet come. You must return to the world now. As I tumble down toward my body, I comprehend the true meaning of my lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to me. Love exists not only in the hereafter, it is present in the entire design of the twins that is the origin of all life in this world. What is the manifestation of this love in my mortal life? So, this is another interesting part of the game. As you die your lesser deaths, the twins offer you questions about metaphysical concepts. These answers were offered do not mean anything in a mechanical sense, but they are great role-playing guides. How do we want to role-play our Sir Brante, and what do we want him to believe in? Okay, we can say that the manifestation of the divine love is the empire itself, because by creating the empire, the twin gods cared for all living creatures. The empire is an enormous family made for people by the gods. Okay? Cause. The love the gods have for me is so great that they allow me to change the world they have created, to influence it with my deeds. Lot. The gods give me a clear mission in this world, thus gifting me my very being. What could be a stronger manifestation of love than my very existence? My every emotion and thought, every action exists by virtue of the love. Family. Love always lives in kindred blood. I share the miracle of life and the universe with my kin. Or I can remain silent and do not find the answer to this question. Okay. I think I'm going to go a little bit like Conan the Barbarian way. And I'm gonna answer that I am the manifestation of love. The gods gave me the breath of life and the will to struggle against its hardships. What more can one demand from the gods? A sudden comprehension of the love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates my mind, yes. Each and every living being is gifted by two things only. The breath of life and the will to struggle. What greater love can we get from the twins? But then it fades away and vanishes. I regain the sensation of my flesh. It is heavy and unwieldy. I gasp for air. My chest expands painfully. I feel as though my lungs are about to burst. I am back. I sense my body, head, arms, and legs. The light fades around me, obedient before a will that is stronger than me. I return to the world. Such is the law of the twins. I will return to the world until the time of my true death. And in this world, I will have a body with which to feel pain and suffering and pleasure. I open my eyes and see the figures of mother and father in the gloom of the family crypt, speaking to each other quietly. Mother runs to me and locks me in an embrace as father wraps me in his cloak. You've met a terrible end, my son. You were trampled by those horses. Don't be so careless ever again. The lives you were granted by the twin gods are not to be wasted so recklessly. You would be punished for this, but the twins have already meted out their punishment. I tremble and step unsteady as I learn how to move again. There is something new on my body, a fresh black mark, a reminder of my lesser death beneath those hooves. Remember that, by the twins' mercy, we are all given enough time in this world. Should we die before our time, we will be brought back by their grace. For 3 times, they will rescue you from a terrible fate, but the 4th death is true and final for all. So the metaphysical explanation, the theological explanation behind this is that the twins want a person to have a full life experience when this person is judged. So if we die at random, like if a brick falls on my head, I will be reborn because they want me to live my full life before I meet their judgment. Every loss of a life we were granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us. But the gods told us not to mourn a lesser death, and so we will humbly accept this and move on. See, your body has been reborn anew, with all your wounds healed. Do not mourn your loss of life, my son, but thank the twin gods for their justice. Do not speak of this, and do not ever play by the road again if you wish to keep on living. When I cautiously go back outside the next day, children from the neighborhood surround me. They all saw I get trampled, and now they all ask me the same question: what was it like to die? But I can't really explain, it is hard to explain a conversation with the gods themselves. Thomas rescues me from the pestering. He pushes the motley crew aside, hugs me, and pats me on the back. Look at you, buddy. You gave an entire life to keep a girl safe. Then I see Sophia. She is standing nearby, shyly walking up the courage to walk over to me. Soon she finally approaches and begins speaking rapidly. Bran, why did you throw yourself in front of those horses? My life isn't worth any more than yours, so why did you think that? You weren't supposed to die there. It was always Ryder's fault. They deserve to die, not you. Oh. Her voice rises to a shriek. She suddenly stops and runs back home. I stay where I am, watching her run, the golden rays of the sun dancing in her braided hair. So, we've raised all our stats, all our attributes, spent some of our willpower, and died our first death. What is more important, we saved the local girl, Sophia, from lesser death. I think it was a brave and good thing to do. Yes, soil and gunpowder. This is basically a scripted event about how there was a huge explosion in the silver mine nearby because some greedy noble used gunpowder to burrow further down, and many people, many workers died in the explosion. This is not very important to our story, so I'll skip it. I skip it so fast. It's important because it influences the stats of our province. As you can see, order goes down, respect for the law and the stability of order goes down, but the wealth of Magra, the welfare of the province and its population goes up because we mine so much silver now. Stefan's arrival. Oh, Stefan is back. Nice. During lunch, father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. My elder brother Stefan will return home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be my grandfather Gregor Brante as well as a noble friend of the family. It has been years since I last saw Stefan. How has he changed during his years away from home? Kay weighed the guests anxiously. Grandfather is the first to come in, naturally. He has not changed a bit since his last visit, still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Hi, Grandpa. Grandfather is followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket, whom I barely recognize as my brother. Stefan casts a glance at my threadbare clothes, my dirty fingernails, and smirks. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. I have heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin L. Born, Stefan's uncle, a family friend, and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir L. Born smiles lightly and offers you his hand. And this must be your younger son Bran, yes? You have your father's eyes, young man. Good evening, Sir Elborn. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn, but there is a moment of quiet when Stefan's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There is a question in Stefan's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We noblemen oughtn't put our emotions on public display, father, not even after a lengthy separation. There is no embrace. Instead, Stefan nods to father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. Oh, not good at all. After the greeting, I proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is the first to enter. He kisses mother's hand and Gloria's too, and tussles Nathan's hair after he sees him hiding by the table. Grandfather acknowledges them with glum nod. Greetings, Lydia Brante. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child. And you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. My elder brother ignores Gloria completely, not even a greeting. I proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner, and we take our seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. Elborn is the only one with a friendly smile on his face. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stefan spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. So, an important thing to say is that Augustin Elborn is the brother of Amalia Elborn, our father's first and late wife. So he is Stefan's uncle and our honorary uncle, I guess. My fork freezes in the air halfway to my mouth. I expect many things from a noble of the sort, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. Grandfather looks like he's about to choke on those words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor, parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love, I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be there to raise Stefan. But there was still a family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the while. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge's rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps, and who knows, perhaps even the younger man of a Brante family will contribute to the... You clumsy low-born cretin! Everybody is startled by the sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turns red. He is glaring at a young lady servant holding a pitcher over a glass. Stefan is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacket. Begone this instant! The lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on a small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. What? Stefan glares at Gloria across the table. She's sitting right next to me. She shrinks down and hunches over under his gaze. Father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stefan's gaze does not move. The silence lasts far too long. when Gloria starts to rise from her chair. If a Brante gentleman so wish it. How can Stefan bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sister like this? I mean, I humiliated my mother when I greeted this Baroness, what her name was, but I did it because my father asked me what the fuck Stefan is doing. And yet they are noblemen and they have a right to act this way. If there is any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, I do not want to see it. Okay, what can we do? We can insult Stefan. It will improve Gloria's opinion on us, raise our ingenuity, but as I imagine, Stefan will be pissed, and there will be bad blood between us. We can make small talk over dinner, try to act like nothing happened, and make small talk with a guest. Grandfather will be pleased if we do this. Or we can join Gloria in her plight, rise from the table, and help my sister wait on my family. Well, the way I see it, Stefan acts like a huge asshole here. Like he does not need to prove his superiority to his own family, especially in such a cruel way against his own sister by mother, I guess. But I'm in no position to insult him. Like I said, he is a nobleman. We have a nobleman by the sword in our house as a guest. I'm a lowly commoner. I'm in no position to insult the family heir and my elder brother. To make small talk over dinner, however, would be a very shitty thing to do because then Gloria will suffer alone in her humiliation. So, like I said before at the end of the last chapter, there is strength in endurance, there is strength in humility, and as long as I'm a commoner, I will suffer through the plights of common lot. If commoners are not welcome at this table, then I rise to join Gloria. A moment later, I hear the sound of another chair moving. My mother joins us. The three of us now refill glasses, serve food, and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Elborn tries to make smoke talk with father, but in vain, so he focuses his attention on grandfather and Stefan. Grandfather is pleased to inform him of Stefan's achievements at the boarding school, especially his exemplary sword fighting skills. He constantly stresses the importance of my elder brother for the future of the family. I continue serving new dishes to the table. Importance to the family, my ass. Stefan, like, what the fuck is he doing? Importance to the family. Who he thinks he is? To insult his own flesh and blood like this. As I wait at the nobleman's table, me, my sister, and mother never bump into each other. My labor is impeccable. Grandfather could not have found fault with it even if he tried. My shoulders and back are aching, but when the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace me with relief. I did not neglect my relatives and shared their humiliation, and the composure that I have shown gave me new strength. And what's even more important, I think, we improved our relations with Gloria. She saw that she is not alone in her suffering, that I am here to support her. Which is great. A dropped handkerchief. Hot, dry wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anisot prefer to remain in the chambers, while the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. I am on an errand right now. My father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance and I am to deliver it. Thomas is tagging along. The two of us are inseparable now. So we decide to take this opportunity to basically hang around the part of Anisot where the nobles live, in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain, in the merciful shade of the silver tree. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy life. Well, yeah, Thomas, that's the point. This is our lot. We work and endure and suffer. We are not supposed to enjoy things. Well, we can enjoy some little things, but we are not supposed to enjoy life in a general sense. Thomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know that, our lady. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble, our strength is patience and persistence. So yeah, I say, but I wanna make my fortune no matter what. So how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? I don't know what you're even talking about. Yeah, commoners can make a fortune, commoners can become rich. Still doesn't change the lots that much. The lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you, for example, Brante. Your father's a nobleman, but even if that didn't make you one, just look at your hands. You never had to work as hard as me, but we have the same load, so we're supposed to suffer the same. Oh, look at your father. He's a judge. He toils at prefecture day and night doing his judging, and he's a noble. I've never seen an Arknian work as hard as he does. Look, Thomas, the Arknians are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of a sort by birth. They founded the empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. That's why we're called the Blessed Arknian Empire. Arknian is the race, basically the local equivalent of elves. Humans will never be their equals. Arknians are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. Well, I have never seen an Arknian myself. Our chatter is interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. Common rebel like you have no place here. We hear the clattering of hoofs and the sable serpent on the field of birth. It makes me squirm. It is the Archduke's coat of arms, the Milanidas dynasty. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. I cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders, suggested but not revealed by the cut of her dress, her black hair cascading over them, her stately slim silhouette, her pouty lips and prim nose, and those eyes dark like the night sky, the way she moves fluidly, gracefully. Most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She is a masterpiece given life. She is an Arknian. Clear the way for me. The Milanidas guardsmen work quickly to clear the way to the fountain for the Arknian lady. With one elegant motion she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I'll be. That's Octavia Milanidas, our Archduke's own daughter. Huh, a princess, then. The Arknian turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. I see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestones right next to me, her handkerchief. It's right there by my feet. Will I dare draw the beautiful Arknian's attention in order to return her lost possession? Or would I rather not attempt to cross the chasm between me and her? We can give the handkerchief back to Octavia. It will make her remember us, and it will unlock a special event, Matters of the Heart. Basically the first romantic feelings of ours. But it will cost us willpower. We can stash the trophy, planning to sell it later and improve our relations with Thomas. Or we can keep the handkerchief as a memento without returning it to Octavia and replenish our willpower. Well, Bran Brante is clearly smitten by this beautiful, beautiful Arknian princess. He has never seen someone as beautiful as her. But to give the handkerchief back to her, once again, I am in no position to draw her attention to myself. I am but a shitty, lowly commoner. Nope. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep the handkerchief as a memento. I carefully observe Lady Octavia as she leaves. Her delicate figure moves through a square like a waking dream. Her elegant hands gliding through the air, her hair flowing in the light breeze. My eyes watch all of her. She returns to the carriage, leaning on a guardsman's shoulder. The soft handkerchief feels warm in my hand. The carriage drives away. I hide the trophy in my pocket. Until that day, I associated the Milanidas dynasty with nothing but indifferent cruelty, because they were the ones to trample Sophia. But now, my breast pocket holds the proof of yet another quality they possess. Beauty. Arknians are beautiful. No wonder they are a superior race. The Quorum Decree. 12 years old now, this is kind of important here. I overhear an important conversation. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. I sneak outside to avoid mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he? Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont may be low-born, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful. Should he become the chairman of a lesser quorum? I don't give a damn who the segment is, Robert. What he is, however, is low-born. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They are nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm, noble hand to guide them. I wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree, but that accursed Cornelius Tempest did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic screed, and now even low-lives can wield power. True power, Robert. Also, I guess there is a parliament established in the Empire now, somewhat like a parliament of British monarchy. Just the right to discuss the size of Archduke's tax, nothing more. This is only the beginning. What's next? Are they going to arm the lowlifes now? Make them into judges? Allow same gender marriages? Grandfather is such a traditionalist, such an old fart. If the empire rejects the foundations and the laws, the entire edifice will crumble. Bah! Who am I telling this to? It is already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are a harbinger of its destruction. Father, I'm begging you. I do not wish to marry a third time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you would only allow her to, I will allow them nothing. Neither Egmont nor that free-loading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of a lowborn? I can already see where this is going, and I would rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where nobles and lowlifes share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book, but that dream will never come true. They will never call me a Venerable El Brante, and it's all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stefan addressed in such a manner one day. Thank the twins I didn't let you ruin the boy. He is about to grow up a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of El Brante. It will be explained to us what it all means in a minute. You have 2 more grandsons. Those spineless milksops from the common lot. Then incapable of anything. Oh, grandfather, you hurt my feelings. Why don't you like me? I thought we had a mutual respect. The best your middle son could do is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mental. I will have grave doubts about even that. As for the downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever. Ooh. So, an important thing to know is that over the course of our life, there is a revolutionary situation brewing in the empire. Commoners start to get more rights, they start to fight for their freedoms, for their dignity, and old nobles and, traditionalists like our grandfather oppose these changes, and these 2 forces will clash sooner or later. Okay, a storm of expectations. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house. But before I can breathe a sign of relief and put away the books, father asks me to come to his study. You've grown, my son. It is time for you to continue your education away from home. I've chosen a deserving school for you, Sir Tibor's school for the children of noblemen and well-off commoners. Also, commoners can get education in this universe. It's a good thing to know in this cruel world. Naturally, it is not a boarding school for nobles, so you will study there during the day and come home in the evening. What Thomas is to say? Sir Tiber School, eh? Yeah, I gotta ask my parents to send me there too as soon as they get the coin together. Father says his workshop has toiled day and night for years to save up for my education. Oh. The school is based in an ancient estate of Archnean design. The classrooms are tall and spacious with massive benches. The rules are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless Thomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of a subject. Every day, father asks me about my studies. Father keeps pressuring me to work even harder. And when it is time to go to bed, Mother will not let me go to sleep until I recite a newly learned prayer for her. And every day I promise I will behave with great humility and steer clear of insolent behavior of any kind, for I still live by the commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. Okay, my first month in school draws to a close, and the teachers announce that there will be exams at the end of the month to determine the best and the worst students in each subject. Father insists that I devote all my spare time to studying law and history if I wish to follow in his footsteps, that is, get a higher education and become a judge, a noble of the mantle. But when I speak to Mother every day, I start considering theology. I still remember the revelations and divine visions that came to me in my earliest years. Okay, we have one more day until the exam. But Thomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who live next street. They heard about our wooden fortress and swore to dismantle it tonight because it is a shame that commoners build fortifications of any kind. Thomas swore he would defend the fortress until the end. Perhaps I should abandon the books to rescue a friend in need. When I hear my little brother Nathan knocking at the door, yeah, what is it? The door is locked. Are you okay, Bran? Is there anything I can do to help? Okay, so we have to choose what do we want to do. We can focus on law and history and increase our nobility, improve our relations with Father. We can study theology, increase our spirituality, improve our relations with Mother. We can go help Thomas, increase our ingenuity and be pals with Thomas, or we can spend a moment with Nathan and replenish our willpower. Actually, this is interesting. Well, seeing as I gave a pretty straightforward answer about the twins the first time I died, that the twins do not care much for me, they simply gave me the will to live. I don't think I want to pursue theology that much, at least right now. Go help Thomas. Sounds like a good thing to do. No, I'm sorry. The exams are more important than some wooden fortress built by two kids. Like I'm sorry if it gets destroyed, but my future and my chances at getting a good education are more important than the games and wooden fortresses. So I'm gonna focus on law and history, on secular sciences. Okay, Nathan, please give me some moment of quiet. Quiet, silence, and peace. My eyes start to hurt from all the legal terms and chronologies and titles of imperial edicts. I repeat everything, every single line, until my head hurts and my vision begins to blur. When Father walks in, he chuckles in approval. I fall asleep amidst the books. The morning comes, and when there is time for law, the teacher's voice singles me out. If a commoner insults a nobleman's honor, how ought he to be dealt with according to the imperial law? Bring the commoner to the prefecture, where the judge will sentence him to corporal punishment. And what if a noble takes a commoner's life by negligence or whim? The noble is fined by the provincial authorities. Surprising even myself, I give the correct answers to these questions and the many more that follow. The next subject is the history of the blessed Archnean Empire. I masterfully recount the history of every province as they merged with the empire from Monia to Magra. When I recite the names of every Tempest who has ruled the empire. Tempest is the royal dynasty, the imperial dynasty. I conquer every question the teacher asks me without confusing a single date. I get the highest grade in law and history and an average grade in theology. I relay the teacher's praise to Father over dinner. He smiles. Well done, my son. I can see how hard you have been working. Keep at it, and you will be among the Empire's greatest servants. I am proud of you. Being a great servant of the Empire, it's a promising prospect. Noble titles. Aha! Now, as I study imperial law, I come to realize that there is a certain hierarchy even within the noble estate, the noble lot. It seems my father's status is not quite equal to that of a more eminent human and Arknian gentry. This is important. This is really important. This is really important, like world building stuff. Father asks me about school after dinner, as he always does. What is the difference between nobles of a mantle and those of a sword, Bran? I already have an answer ready. The latter status, nobles of a sword, is hereditary, meaning that it is passed down from father to son. After the Arknians, nobles of a sword are the most eminent humans in the empire. They own land and estates, they fill offices of the highest ranks, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. This is what grandfather was talking about. Like, he wanted our family to become nobles of a sword, but it all went to shit when our father married a low-born woman, our mother. Nobility of a sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province or the emperor himself. And how are such eminent people addressed? With the honorific L before their last name, I respond. Sir Augustine L. Bourne, for example. Father pats me on the shoulder, clearly pleased. And what about the Arknians and their status? What have you learned about them? The Arknians stand above all human gentry. They are born to rule over humans regardless of their titles. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics, for the names of the ancient dynasties are known to all. Our father nods somberly. Yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Arknian tells you and never defy them. Ever. And what about grandfather and me? Where do we stand as nobles? This is easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of a mantle. This title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by any commoner as a reward for great service to the empire in the legion or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks me in the eye intently. Yes, and someday you will earn a noble title too, son. All in due time. Well, actually, we're under no obligation to become a nobleman in this game. We can remain in a lowly lot, or we can become a priest. That's also possible. So, Sons of a Nobility. A third-birth school teaches children of all stripes. Nobles of a mantle and low-born parents can send their sons here. And every passing day, the children of noblemen invent new ways to snub and bully the commoners. No girls allowed, I guess? Okay. That's too bad. Most of the time, the bully leading them is Diderik, the son of a secretary for the Imperial Chancellery and a self-important slob. The sons of noblemen never pick on me because I am the son of noble of a mantle, but Thomas is their favorite victim, unfortunately. Time and time again, I ask my friend not to pay them any mind, but again and again, Thomas grows angry and snaps. It is early morning. You wave Thomas over when I see him in the school. He waves back at me, and then a bucket full of slop splashes off him. Ooh. Needless to say, it is the work of Diderik and his entourage. I hear his familiar creaky laughter. The tailor's son stinks. How dare he sit next to decent folk? Thomas clenches his fist. You dead, Diderik? He throws himself at Diderik, haughty entourage like a soldier ready to wage war. Thomas, don't! He attacks them first. This is just what they expected, and they're free to retaliate. He barely makes one movement before 4 pairs of hands grab him at once. Diderik sneers and kicks my friend in the belly. Thomas gasps for air and starts coughing. I stand between them as Diderik readies another kick. Hey, whoa, guys, stop! The nobleman's son cocks an eyebrow. Why do you mingle with commoners? He asks. Your father is a noble of a mantle. You ought to be friends with your own kind, your equals, not the dirt beneath your feet. 4 boys hold Thomas down as he struggles furiously. The other students are watching me frozen in fear. Diderik haughtily extends a hand to me. He clearly expects me to shake it. What will I do? So I can challenge Diderik to a fight and beat the shit out of him. I can be a snitch and turn him over to the teachers. I can admonish the nobleman's son. Each of these choices improves my relations with Thomas and raises one of my stats. Or, seen as that we are not too close with Thomas, we are not too close friends, I can shake Diderik's hand and admit that being friends with the sons of nobles can benefit my family. It will increase my reputation, improve my relations with my father, but naturally worsen my relations with Thomas. Okay. I'm gonna do a really shitty thing here, like a legit bad thing, but I have sworn to the twins that I will do what it takes to rise above my shitty lot. And that's what I'm going to do. Didrik, Thomas, and the entire school sees me shake his hand. There's truth in what he said. I am a son of noble, just like he. Being friends with my peers is good for the family, and my father's standing. His hand is cold and moist. Ugh. Thomas winces when he sees me shake the boy's hand. A satisfied smile appears on Didrik's face. Now that he has finally gotten what he wanted, he signals to his friends to let Thomas go. Basically, I did what Harry Potter did not, and I shook the hand of local Draco Malfoy. Thomas gets back on his feet, looks me straight in the eye, and shakes his hand in disappointment. I didn't ask you about that, Bran. Why you... Thomas avoids me for the rest of the day. When the lessons end, he quickly packs up and leaves without me. I spend the evening with Diderik and his retinue. As it turns out, the children of noblemen aren't so bad when I get to know them. They are simply afraid of their status and eager to avoid being mixed up with the low-born boys. Cowards. Not Diderik himself, however. His stupidity and bravado are astonishing. He clearly became their leader through sheer audacity and overconfidence. Well, yeah. So I betrayed my not that close but still a good friend for this piece of shit. Well, at least I remember why I did this, why I need his friendship. Several days pass and when Didrik invites me to his family's house, I inform father of the invitation. You have made friends with the city hall secretary's son? This may bode well for our family. Well done. I will accompany you there. We travel to the city hall district. The secretary's house is larger and more luxuriously decorated than my family's. There is even a garden in front of it planted in imported soil. Didrik pompously introduces me to his father. The two fathers sip wine until the sun goes down, discussing unresolved affairs such as the quorum decree, the lesser quorums, the policies of Archduke. Father doesn't forget to mention that he is related to the prefect Elborn. The two fathers part on good terms. They agree to invite each other to dinners and date each other in work-related matters. Father tussles my hair when we take the carriage back home. This is a very good connection for our family. I'll tell your grandfather how he helped me set it up. You did very well, Bran. Sir Gregor will certainly appreciate this. He's a little bit drunk. Look, Dad, the thing is to set up this evening, I had to ignore my best friend Thomas for the better part of a week. I betrayed him in front of the entire school and I feel really shitty about it. What do you think I should do? Maybe you should apologize to him first. If you are truly good friends, your friendship will survive this trial. The next day I catch up to Thomas. Look, hey! I have to keep up with him while talking, which is quite difficult because he would rather hurry ahead instead of talking to me. Look, Thomas, I understand that I was a brat, I was a real piece of shit to you, but look at the bright side. The nobleman's son have settled down. I make sure that they will never bully you again. My father... Look... I find no pleasure in doing what I did. I did it for my father, for my family. Like, you told me that you want to make your fortune and make your family proud. That is exactly what I want to do. I want to make my fortune rise above my humble beginnings and make my family proud. And these acquaintances was turned into a useful connection for my father. Regardless, you will always be my friend. Didrik is nasty and stupid, and I don't like him at all. I know I did wrong, but I hope you understand why I did it. And I want you to know I'm sorry. Thomas stops when he hears me say that. The familiar smile starts beaming on his face once again. Now, that's interesting, Brante. So, you've learned his weak spots, eh? Keep talking and I'll see if I should forgive you. I tell Thomas about the week I spent with Didrik, and soon the two of us are making up new names for the Buddhists based on what I have learned, laughing together again. His resentment soon disappears, he stops avoiding me, this has left a mark on our relationship, but we remain friends. Just somewhat distant friends. Not very close, unfortunately. That's what this game is good at, making you feel bad for your decisions. The Silver Tree. So this is a scene where theology teachers basically take us to a tour to the Silver Tree. We take a trip. This is where the Great Temple is located, the Great Temple of the Silver Tree. We will witness this landmark of a twins advent up close. Soon we enter the slums surrounding the church district of Anisot, the roots of the tree are pulsating under my feet. Pathetic crumble hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to me and point me towards the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, my teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and they faith in it. My class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. So the temple of the twin gods is right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There's a crowd there, pilgrims dressed in traveling clothes, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There are arguments among some people who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upward at the tree's branches. I am filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about myself, to touch the silver white bark and hearken to the whispering leaves. Yet a tall, red-haired woman walks out of a crowd of pilgrims. She is wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. Her hands clutch a book. She beckons to me and says her name, Matilde, a preacher from Astinia. What she says next shakes me to my very core. It is commendable to see a young man so keen to learn the teachings of the twins. Yet you will never follow the light of truth within the walls of the temple. Inside you will find only the lies about the lots. The erring words of prophet statues sanctified by the passage of centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins' own lives knows that they never so much as mentioned the lots. Oh, so we have a religious schism here. We have a religious divide here. The lots are a lie. Everything I have been taught by mother and at school is a lie. Okay. Suddenly I feel a small warm hand grasp my own and see a girl right next to me. Okay. Don't listen to her. She's dangerous. Come to the temple with me. Only there will you see the truth. Okay, guys. I'm really tired of this. I can follow the girl into the temple. Okay, I can stay with a red-haired pilgrim and listen to what she has to say, or I can leave them both and approach the tree. Okay, each of them expects me to follow her. Seeing as the elder twin mentioned no lots when I met him after my first death, I want to listen to the red-haired pilgrim. What is she talking about? What is her point? This Matilde of Astinia. The lady preacher hands her book to me. There are words on the cover, the lives of the twins. Do you have time to speak about Jesus, our Lord and Savior? The book is so heavy, I almost drop it. Okay, I flip through the pages and hope to glimpse a message or two from it. This book was written by the disciples of the twins. When the twin gods descended and brought faith into the world, they walked the lands with them. The disciples walked the lands. It is filled with many stories of wonders and battles, as well as records of the twins' own sermons and dialogues. We discuss many things that now guide the living: the fate that awaits us on the Shining Pillar, the eternal life after true death, and the profane evil of magic. Yet Matilda points out that there is not one mention of the lots in this book. So, how can this be? It is what it is, she responds. The twins never spoke of them. They never left any teaching behind. Nothing but their deeds and their own lives in this world. It actually corresponds really well with my own revelation in the hereafter, that the twins leave us no guiding lines except our own freedom to live and struggle and endure. But then how come we know about the lots? They exist thanks to Isatius, she says. Isatius, favored by the gods, the elders' favorite disciple, walked the lands by his side. They, the lots, came to be when people came to Isatius and asked him how they should live. Yet Isatius was but a man, and his teachings of the lots were not a divine revelation, but a speculation of his own devising. Okay, so what does that mean? A new faith, she says with a smile. My conclusions bring me no comfort. If that strange lady preacher was right, then I am supposed to be free to interpret the twins' words myself. I and only I should be responsible for my life and fate in the hereafter. That's what I knew after my first death. It all comes together now. Who can tell for sure? Well, I can. I understand something now. I understand that I bear full responsibility for my life and my decisions. The shadow of the past. Another school day has ended. I'm making my way home and thinking about the empire and important stuff. Mother is waiting for me on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees me. So she is not pissed at me anymore about this Baroness incident. No, she's pretty pissed. As you can see, she's still indifferent to me. Okay, nonetheless. Father left on a trip to several distant migrant towns a few days ago, and Mother has been trying to tell me something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? Okay. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to the twins and the greater design in a barely audible whisper. I repeat after her just as he has taught me ever since I was a little boy, but I am not so certain about these prayers right now. Okay. When the prayer ends, Mother signs and turns to me. Bran, my son, you are 13 now. You will be grown soon. It is time you learned about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It is about your father and me, about our marriage. I am listening. I am sure you've wondered about this before. Your father is a nobleman of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, Bran, your father, when his first wife Amalia Elborn died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. Then he met me. You know the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask them for help, protection, justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. A nobleman took a liking to me, may his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humble and honored his lot to rule. But he took me by force. Oh my god. So a noble raped our mother. That's a difficult thing to know. She falls silent, summoning the courage to continue. Gloria is that nobleman's daughter. The bastard child, I see. But he was outraged. How could I have a gall to burden him with low-born progeny? Well, what was she to do? Abort the child? In late Middle Ages? Excuse me. He turned me out on the street with a little baby girl in my arms. I take her hand tenderly. Her voice is shaking now. I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. What about her family? What about her friends? Like, she didn't have anyone back then? Okay, that's besides the point. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that at that very moment the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me that there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me, but he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agreed, he would take me into his own home. Also, that's why our father married our mother with a bastard child, and ruined his chances to get ennobled by the sword, and angered grandfather Sir Gregor. What a family drama, man. Tears are running down mother's cheeks. And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer. But caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and care for others. But his decision to marry me, he's still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors we heard about the Brantes all over Anisot. It was only thanks to the efforts of Sir Gregor that the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of its reputation. Oh, this is horrible. So Gloria became the source of shame and embarrassment for the family, through no fault of her own. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about that scandal, thank the twins. My son, I am not telling you this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through gritted teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria, she can never be a Brante. Even if the elder Brantes agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of high society. And if that were to happen, Bran, we would see even your birth as illegitimate. What I told you just now is something you have to know, son. You are about to enter adult life. By my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family, but may I ask you a question? Now that you know all of this, do you still see Gloria as your sister? Okay, what we can do? We can accept Gloria as our sister, regardless of her origins. Seeing as that we are not too close with Gloria, we can distance ourselves from her and be more wary when dealing with Gloria. Or we can evade the question. We do not want to disappoint Mother or Gloria, but we are not ready to promise anything just yet. Well, obviously, I do not want to distance myself from Gloria. It will be a very shitty thing to do. Regardless of her origins, Gloria will always be family. Difficult thing here is that though I do see Gloria as my sister and I love her and care about her, I am in no position to decide what will become of her. I have 3 noblemen lining up before me who are far more within their right to decide what will become of our family. So, as much as it pains me to do so, I'm gonna evade the question. Look, Mother, I don't know what the future may hold. I'm still not grown up enough to have a say in matters such as this, and I will not be in charge of the family's affairs anytime soon. Because, actually, we have the same lot, Mother. Have you forgotten? We are lowborns. We cannot decide the fate of our family. Gloria means a lot to me. She always will, regardless of your status in the Brante home. I cannot promise that she will become a proper Brante one day, a member of a family, but I care about her. I do. Mother nods sadly. I understand, Bran. You want what's best for everyone. You don't want to betray your sister, but you also don't want to give her too much hope. You're still young. You don't have to make a choice just yet. But you will have to decide one day, I'm afraid. The world won't let you stand aside forever. Just then, we hear Gloria carefully knock at the door. Mother, Bran, I couldn't find you. Hi, sis. Um, Sorry, we were just chatting. You want to go read some ancient poetry down in the library together? Gloria agrees, suspecting nothing about what Mother told me just now. Mother remains alone by her bedside, thanking the twins for the gift of humility. So we further worsen our relations with Mother because she knows we are not ready to make any commitments, any decisions. But our relations with Gloria stay the same, which is good. Which is good. I do not want to make Gloria more miserable than she is now. Okay, another not very important event. Basically, our classmate named Brian turned out to be a mage, a warlock, and tried to burn down the school because of all of the humiliation and suffering he endured in it. He was swiftly captured by me and Thomas before he could burn the whole school down, and then he was bound up by the Inquisition and sent to the House of Humility. This is basically a huge fortress of Inquisition where mages are stripped of their free will and made obedient dolls with no power to harm anyone else. Nothing too special, it improves our relations with Thomas slightly, and we still remain good friends. The nobleman's lot. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the emperor's reign continues into its second century. Arcanians live far longer than humans. They are basically elves. They do not age and they rarely die of old age or sickness. Like, they die of old age, but they still live far longer than humans. Celebrations in honor of a Tempest dynasty are held throughout the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks. So grandfather is going to bring Stefan back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of anointment together. With his noble education, Stefan might be able to teach me how noblemen are supposed to act. I still have suspicions about Stefan after this disgraceful dinner a few years ago. Nonetheless, soon Stefan arrives. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around and ignoring Gloria, he is still grandfather's double, but he's more grown up now and far less haughty to me. It is a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. Me and Stefan are sitting in the library, and he's telling me all about Eterna, the capital of the Empire. It is full of many wonders: the Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. I have read so much about these places, yet he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. I can't find Gloria. I looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, not in the sitting room, not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak off to the ruins of Charmelanides Palace. She could be lost in there. Okay. Charmelanides, the rebellious duke. The ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there. Okay, my brother tells me to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword. Get ready, Bran. We're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another one of her little rhymes. We instruct Nathan to tell our parents we've gone for a walk in the square. So, Stefan, if you refuse to treat Gloria like a human being, why are you so determined to rescue her? What the hell? Are you wondering? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honor compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante, but father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she is one of our own. You are a Brante too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me. Oh, this is an interesting set of morals, a noble set of morals, and I kinda like it. Okay, the ruins of Charmlander's palace span an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. I make my way through the ruins until we spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. My sister's writing. Oh, she's here! Stefan! Stefan! We hear loud laughter coming from behind the stone wall nearby. Gloria is lying on the ground, face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young fucks surround her, cackling and swiggling their arms about. Look at the lass sitting here rhyming words together. She thinks she's all noble. But don't you worry, you low-born tart. Tart? You fuckers, you. We're gonna teach you your place. One of the louds spits at Gloria as she lies there. These guys are commoners. These fuckers. This game is very good at grey morality. Like, it would be so easy to construct this world in a simple black and white way. Like, nobles are evil oppressors, commoners are good and virtuous, poor oppressed souls. But no. In this game, there can be good nobles and bad, cruel commoners. There can be oppressors among the oppressed. This is fascinating, guys. I like this game so much. Get away from her this instant, you bastard, or I will spill your guts. They respond with mocking laughter. Stefan draws his sword. The street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice that he is only one armed man against many. They start reaching out for sticks and stones. Stay by my side, don't let them flank me. Okay, Stefan's hand shakes, but he looks ready for battle. He is outnumbered. For a moment, I hesitate. It might be better to run and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and me and Stefan cautiously. Okay, I can charge the attackers on my own. I can follow my brother's order, or I can call the guards like a pussy. No, fuck! I will not leave Stefan and Gloria alone in this. Stefan, I am with you, man. Let's give them hell! Stefan's firm voice fills me with confidence. I follow my noble brother's orders, as a commoner I am. It takes a moment to grab a stick, and then I am at Stefan's back, angrily swinging at the louds as they try to bring him down. Yeah, come here, fuckers, get some! Who wants a piece of me? One of the loads lunges at my brother with a stone, but I hit him with a stick and he falls down right at Stefan's feet. His sword flashes. The blade sinks deep into the young man's stomach. He wheezes. Blood starts pouring onto the ground. The thugs freeze. Stefan pulls the sword out, his face an inscrutable mask, and returns to his fighting stance. I am stunned to see Stefan take another man's life so easily and effortlessly, like picking his own teeth. The thugs look like they're about to flee. Stefan just scoffs at them. Lowborn scum. That's all you are. This is the only language you understand. Good job, brother. Gloria, get up. We are going home. He turns to glance at your sister, giving the enraged thugs just enough time to rush me. I get separated from Stefan, my back is against the wall now. They hit me hard, in the stomach, then the face, then the side of the head. Then my mind slips away. I find myself lying in my bed. Stefan is in the armchair next to me, reading a book. Phew, he is alive, thank the twins. No, not thank the twins, like, thank Stefan's skill, I guess. Skill and valor. I try my best to sit up, but Stefan looks up from the book. Don't try to get up. You lost a lot of blood. I suppose that was a few fucks too many for a single warrior, even with good backup. I'm impressed. We fought like an army. The noble orders, the commoner obeys, all according to our laws. We defended the family's honor together. Yeah, I guess we did, brother. You know, brother, the nobleman's lot is also a great burden that few are able to bear. It takes courage. Not to fight everything you see, but to do your duty. Each and every decision a nobleman makes becomes a part of his family's legacy, flowing in the blood tied forever. I think about it often. A noble mustn't act weak. A noble mustn't suffer like people of a low-born lot. A noble must rule over them wisely. A noble must ensure that they have work to do. It's not merely your own lot you have to look after, you have to ensure that 1,000 others can live by the lot as well. And there are so many more matters to take care of: honor, dignity, tradition. It's tough, but it's what it takes to be a nobleman. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I guess so. So, what Stefan is trying to say is that the noble lot might be the hardest of all, the hardest to live by. There is approval in my brother's eyes. It was a pleasure to fight side by side, brother. The pleasure is all mine, Stefan. Okay, we defended Gloria, that is good. Trial of the Silence. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of lowborn thugs assaulted Stefan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as Lesser Death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Prefect Elborn, a friend of my family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Stefan and Grandfather decide to stay in Anisot until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. I ask Father to explain how can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? Because we have 3 lesser deaths before we die a true death. What's the matter? Your words are true, my son. Between gods made the empire and all its ways, so the court of law exists to execute the laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it, and so every execution brings true death. This is very important. The empire has the divine right to punish people, and Arcanians for that matter, with true death, skipping all the lesser deaths. The commoners who assaulted Stefan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offense. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court. When evening comes, Gloria visits my room. Yes, sister, what is it? The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess started because of me. But Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. What? I'm asking what a lot in this game. Why am I always in the way? Nobody ever mentions me. Nobody has to listen to me. It's like I don't even exist. And I thought Stefan standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family. But no. Everything is back to usual now. Gloria tries her best to hold back the tears. I do my best to comfort her. Look, sis. It's not like that. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. Look at our reputation. We've barely crawled our way back up from a pile of shit. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he took me into the house at all? Fair point. I return to my books, but I can't help but get lost. What if they told the court I wasn't there? How would I feel? There's a knock at the door. It is Father. Yeah. Son, you will be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The lowborn man insulted Stefan first and then attacked him. Stefan had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence to the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We're all counting on you. Doesn't grandfather... I am lost in thought. Why should we deny Gloria is a part of the family? If I do, however, what Father tells me to do, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face true death for Sultan and Noble. If I mention Gloria, things will get complicated. I cannot predict how the trial will end. What is more important to me, what is right or what is just? Well, I don't see how lying in the court of law is right or just. Nonetheless, what can we do? We can support Favor, lower our unity, increase our reputation, and worsen our relations with Gloria. We can lie to Favor and tremendously worsen our relations with Favor. Don't want to do that. However, because we are very close with our father, because our father listens to us and trusts us, we can convince him to change his mind. We can convince him that it is wrong to lie in the court, that we should stand up for Gloria like any family should. That's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, father. I am not going to bear false witness in court. You are a judge. How can you make me lie to Sir Elborn? How can you make me to lie at the court of law, which, as you said yourself, is a representation of the divine law of the twins? And what of Gloria? She may not bear a Brante name, but does she not deserve justice? Is she just a freeloader who deserves nothing but shame? If so, then how come you agreed to take her into your home under your protection? Gloria is our collective responsibility. We should stand up for her. I pray he hears no weakness in my voice and sees no blood rushing to my cheeks. But it seems he is listening to me intently. This is going to be tough, son. But you're right. You are right. I took Gloria into my home, and so I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision. I must stand by it. I will speak with Stefan in the morning. Now I pray your grandfather never hears of my change of heart. The day comes. The trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir Elborn himself presides as the judge. I am the first to testify to the court. I tell the court the truth about that night. How the facts humiliated Gloria, how Stefan and I came to help her, and how Stefan defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of my eye, I watch grandfather's face grow red, yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. The commoners on trial cry out, "It's the truth! Gloria was reciting poetry, and they simply told her she was defying her lot." Oh. By this account, Stefan was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had insulted his half-sister. Complicated case. I ask good judges, is it not a nobleman's duty to honor his family name? Gloria does not have a Brante name, true, but my father took her into his home. Therefore, it was Stefan's duty to protect her, as he would have protected any of us. Contemptuous chuckles rush through the courtroom. I have just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Stefan is to testify next. He reluctantly confers my testimony. His arm in the sling is his main argument. Stefan wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end the commoners were the first to assault him. True. After a short recess, Sir Elborn returns and rises to deliver his sentence. The court of Anisot finds you guilty of assaulting Stefan L. Brante. Why L. Brante? He is not L. He is simply Stefan Brante. I guess it's a typo. Stefan Brante, a nobleman who stood in defense of the honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All four defendants are sentenced to true death by hanging. Yeah! Oh! Yeah, death to those fuckers! I feel a gust sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and crying. Yeah, you should raise your sons better, ladies. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by this sentence, and by that very sentence the lives of the four young men are literally forfeit, for all eternity. Such is the power of the empire. The gallows await. Stefan stands in the front row. Father stands next to him. The wood creaks. The trapdoors open under the young man's feet. They dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in the final moments. Grandfather's silence ends at home. He screams at me and father, at Stefan and Gloria. This trial is a disgrace! His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his walking stick against the floor. Father says we had to defend our family. It would have truly been a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibilities. We have shirked our responsibilities. He is right. Stefan excuses himself to bandage his arm. Gloria is quiet but glowing. Anything for you, sis. It's all over now. It's all over now. Nobody bullies Gloria on the streets anymore. Those 4 commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson, so will it be with anyone who dares to raise his hand against a nobleman. We worsened our relations with grandfather, but I still think it was the right thing to do. We lower our reputation a bit, but we increase our unity so much that we enter peace, and we defend our lovely sister from further harm. I may not be ready to make any promises about Gloria, but I am ready to protect her at all costs. Oh, this event is a consequence of your previous actions. Forbidden love. Nice. Another day of school is behind me. I am now wandering my district, taking my time before going home. It is getting dark. Soon I am walking past the splendid mansion of Count El Velasco, one of Magra's richest landlords. I hear a familiar voice from the other side of iron fence. It's Stefan's voice. It is followed by the sound of a young lady laughing. As I peek through the fence into the mansion's garden, I see a girl and my elder brother, and this girl is Maria El Velasco, Count's daughter. She is a noble of a sort, of course. As the whole city knows, she is already betrothed to another young nobleman from a far more illustrious family. Oh, Maria, I thought I would help you come down to earth from your heavenly abode, but your very touch brings me to the heavens. Ooh, Stefan, your compliments are so cringy. I'm about to wince in pain. Okay. He picks the count's daughter up and holds her in the air. She laughs and kisses him on the cheek. But when Stefan takes her by the chin and turns her to face him, their lips join in a kiss. Oh my god. Stefan is putting the reputation of his entire family at risk. Acting so frivolously with a count's daughter may turn the count's influence against all the Brantes. Stefan always speaks so highly of noble bearing and composure and family honor. This is a disgrace, but he's happy. Truly happy. I have never seen Stefan like this. He holds the count's daughter so gently as though he fears to hurt her, and Maria reciprocates his feelings. Must I rob him of a secret joy? If I ever speak to him about this, no one else must hear it. I wait by the gate patiently until Stefan decides to return from his escapades. He is startled when he finally notices me standing by the gate. I can remind him what a nobleman's honor means. It actually will improve his opinion of us, like we will behave like a true noble person, or we can aid him in his cause and keep his secret. Truth be told, I think that happiness is more important than honor and tradition. Even a fleeting love is worth the risk. What are you doing here at this late hour, Bran? Is there something you wish to tell me? What I wish to tell you, Stefan, is that I saw you today in the El Velasco garden with a Khan's daughter. It's a very risky affair. It puts both our families at risk. But I am happy for you. I see you care for her, and she cares for you. No matter what, your happiness, however fleeting, is worth this risk. You can trust me with this secret. My lips are sealed. Stefan reacts to me with anger at first, but my supportive words calm him down. You've got all the makings of a professional spy. But you're right, the risk is too great. Your aid will not go amiss. You are no nobleman yet, but I hope your word is worth my trust. It is, Stefan. You can trust me with this. From that day on, I helped Stefan and Maria avoid attention on many occasions. I even have to distract El Velasco's manservants and lead them away on a wild goose chase through the district. What a romantic adventure we have. In the end, I am never caught, and I earn my brother yet another night with his beloved. We are both aware that the days of their hidden love are numbered. Okay. Me and my brother agree, whatever happens, happens. Young love is worth this risk. I find out about my elder brother's forbidden love. Nice. Another special scene. An adult question. The day is sunny, scorching and hot. I am sitting in the yard in the shade of a tree, studying books about the twins' great descent. I hear shy, quiet steps. There is no need to look back. I know from the sound that it is Nathan. He sits in the shade of a tree, yet he is quiet. That is unusual. Okay, Nathan, what is it, man? What's bothering you? He is deep in thought. He seems uneasy. Huh? He is fidgeting with a symbol of the twins, a cross inside a circle, the lash bound around the sword. Silence wears on. At last Nathan gathers his courage. His eyes narrow. Tell me, Bran. The twins. They hate me, don't they? Nathan's voice is quiet yet firm. It is as if everything is waiting for my answer. The world falls silent around us. Nathan, the youngest brother, the most unassuming child, he is quite obedient and thoughtful. He has been my responsibility almost since his birth, yet he has never been a burden. Father was always aloof around him, and mother was too tired to even smile, and grandfather seemed to avoid Nathan with his scorn. He just treated him like a piece of trash, never called him by name. Is it true that the twin gods had no love for my little brother? Nathan was born a commoner, and his lot is suffering. He is tested by the twins, I guess. There's hope in Nathan's eyes as he looks at me. Guiding others in matters of faith is the clergy's lot, the priest's lot. I'm no priest, but I cannot stay quiet. I can dispel Nathan's fears and say that the twins are love for all that exists, or I can confirm his fears and say that the twins are stern and ruthless. Basically, Bran believes in the second option. Bran believes that the twins give us nothing except the will to live and the breath of life. But I can lie to him. I can tell him pleasant lies. But I think I'm gonna be honest with him and tell him exactly what I believe in. I'm gonna go off the script a little bit here because the script does not match perfectly with what I have to say. Nonetheless, what I say to him is that, Nathan, the twins are stern. They pay no heed to the wishes of men, for they are gods. They have their own vision. They have no humanity, no mercy. That is why they are gods. Do not pray to them too often. They send you dooms, not fortunes. They care not about your struggles and joys and pleasures of the flesh, and your sorrows and your suffering. They test you ruthlessly with the hardships and cruelty of this world. That is what they are doing. That is their role in this world, in this universe. However, you do not have to love them either, because they gave you all you need right here in this world. They gave you a breath of life, a spirit to struggle and endure, and the free will to choose what you want to do, what you can do. You do not need to pray to them or love them fervently like our mother does. You have to respect them, I guess, because they are far above us, they are far superior to any mortal, even Archnians. But do not try to earn their love or pray to them for answers. They won't give you any. They care not for us. Their love is stern, and harsh and merciless, I think is the word. But when your true death comes, you can be brought to the peak of a shining pillar if you live virtuously. That is the only guarantee. That is the only truth the gods accept. Nathan hangs on my every word. The despair on his face is replaced by rage. He leaps to his feet. A single tear rolls down his cheek. No, that cannot be. It is impossible. You simply cannot be right. The twins are testing me. Yeah, that's what I told you right now. And they are testing me right now too. I'm going to tell Mom you are spreading heresy. No, you're not. Nathan screams these words and runs away. I turn back to the book with a heavy heart. It always hurts to face the cruelty of this world. He will never tell on me, of course, his doubt is too great. I understand that Nathan wanted to hear otherwise. He wanted to hear that twins are merciful and just and caring, but that is not what I learned in the hereafter. So it would be dishonest of me to calm him down with pleasant false platitudes. I told him what I believe in. The twins care not for our suffering. The twins give us only the will to live, the will to struggle and endure, nothing more. Nathan's admonition. My younger brother receives a spiritual admonition from you. A very Nietzschean admonition, I guess. Okay. 14 years old. Here we go. Agony. Stefan leaves soon after the trial, alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Several months go by and it becomes clear that grandfather will not recover. The eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now. On some days he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. Oh, so his mind is deteriorating. It's a very hard thing to watch. I actually had an elder relative, an elder loved one who was sick in the same way. Very unpleasant thing to watch. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide, mother locks herself in her chambers, me and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in our rooms. If grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the laws any longer. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect, his son betrayed him and let him down. Oh, how the Brante family has lost its honor. Again and again, I hear grandfather knocking at mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. Oh my god, grandpa has really lost his marbles. My parents talking one night. Mother begs father to move Sir Gregor to his old home in Eterna, in the capital, and spare the children his decline. Father refuses her outright. This is a very stupid thing of our father to do, because such sick people need not torment their relatives, like they should be taken care of in their homes or in special institutions. That's my personal opinion. If there is a possibility, of course, if there are means to do so. Nonetheless, it is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty, save for me, Nathan, Gloria, mother, and grandfather in his bed. Father has left for the capital on business. Okay, when the clock strikes midnight, I hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside my door. I see light in the hallway. Grandfather. What could he want in the middle of the night? Grandfather's figure sways as he heads for the door to mother's chambers. He opens the door and walks in. I hear him saying something quietly. My unease is stronger than my fear. I sneak closer to hear his words. You fool commoner. I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin, you and what you have done to Robert and his family. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Robert from tainting this house by your presence. Why, oh, why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brant, I beg of you, silence! You will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all low-born filth from this place. Fire and flame will free Robert from this disgrace. This is for my son's sake, for my son's sake, for my sake. I need to eradicate this low-born filth that twins were calling for me now. I can feel it, I can feel it. I beg of you, please, have mercy. Mama begins to cry. I ran into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's figure looms over mother's bed, a lit oil lamp in his hand. Mother is sprawled out on the bed, crying, "Please just let me warn the children. I beg of you, Sir Brante." Grandfather turns to look at me. "Stay out of this, Bran. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer." Excuse me, but they concern me pretty badly. Are you going to burn down our house with my mother, myself, and my siblings inside? You insane old fuck. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am. A sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed, driven to madness. His hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. He truly believes this has to be done. What if he is right? What if that is the only way for his soul to find salvation? I have but a moment to act. Okay, so what choices are not locked, available from the start? We can run away to rescue Nathan and Gloria, and it will basically mean that our mother dies. She will burn in the fire, and we will lose a point of our wealth because part of our house will be burned. We can let it all happen as grandfather wishes, die in the fire ourselves, raise all our stats, or seeing as we are brave enough and seeing as our relations with grandfather are not too high, we are not too beholden to him, too beholden to his vision, for lack of a better word, we can stop him. We can run to Mother's side and snatch the lamp out of grandfather's hand before he can start a fire. Actually, though I had a begrudging respect for my grandfather for the majority of my childhood and adolescence, I think now grandfather is clearly wrong. He is wrong to try to murder his own family. He is wrong to be such a coward, to be afraid to stand before the twins and answer for his actions. So, no, Grandpa, I will not, in fact, allow you to kill my entire family. I look at him defiantly and step towards him. He stares me down with rage and throws the oil lamp at the floor. I manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rack. The lamp's glass is blistering hot. It burns my hands. Bookends, bookends. Our relations with grandfather began as we burned our hands rescuing our teen soldiers, and now we burn our hands rescuing our home and loved ones. It burns my hands, but I still hold on to it safely. You low-born scum! You ruined everything. You are every bit like your mother. Enraged, he takes a swing, but he does not hit me. There is a deep exhalation. He collapses, all his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. Another heavy sign. The contempt is gone. There is only fear now. Grandfather's eyes open wide, almost in surprise. Now his eyes grow dim. Mother is there, whispering a prayer. For fuck's sake, a prayer? Really? I saved our house, Mom. You didn't do shit to save your own kids. I understand that she was clearly terrified, the situation was pretty stressful, but still, our mother is just a low-born commoner. She can't even do shit against a noble who is trying to burn her own kids down. Like she is that much of a doormat. Okay, she is shaking violently. I put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found our grandfather. He will never return. Because he died of old age, he has full life experience to be judged by the twins. I spent the rest of the night with Mother in the sitting room. She will not let go of my hand. For many, many nights afterwards, she keeps seeing grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eye. Father returns from a tournament the morning after. He is unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, but this is not the looming heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief we all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the hereafter. It worsens our relations with grandfather to indifference. Our mutual respect is somewhat tarnished by this turn of events. Last respects. No matter how it happened, my grandfather Gregor Brante, is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family. The Brante patriarch exerting his influence on all the lives below him, and all of us will remember him forever. Indeed. Actually, well, not to excuse grandfather or anything. He was clearly an evil and unpleasant man, but the very position our family is in, that we have some semblance of wealth and some semblance of reputation, some semblance of social standing, and the very fact that I have freedom to choose my lot in life, that I am partially noble, so to speak, this is all thanks to him. He might have been an unpleasant man, but he made himself the man he was. He crawled his way from the lowly estate up to the nobility of the mantle. So I think, though I clearly do not love my grandfather Gregor, he deserves my respect. Begrudging respect through gritted teeth, I guess. Father is the new patriarch of the family now, yet he still cannot bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stefan locks himself away in grandfather's bedroom every day. Gloria and Nathan still jump at every sound that so much as resembles the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple. Yeah, what else can she do? Yet the house has become calm and quiet with his passing. There's one more thing that must be done, the final farewell. I understand. The day comes to pay my final respects. Father goes to the tomb alone, save for Stefan, Nathan, and me. Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles or those who may become nobles may join this ritual. And Mother and Gloria, as commoner women, cannot do so. Women of Archaean Empire can become nobles if they marry the noble of a sort. But this is not the case here, so there is a solemn silence as we walk to the crypt. Father is the one who breaks the silence when we finally reach the door of the family crypt. Your grandfather built this, and now he will be the first Brante to remain here in body forever, the first ever noble in our family. It is our duty now, hold to the sacrament of flowing blood for Sir Gregor. We will honor his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Brante dynasty. What does he mean? Okay, so Stefan clutches grandfather's sword. It must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan looks frightened. So basically, we bury our grandfather in this huge, spacious crypt. Gregor Brante, my father, brought our family into nobility through his unshakable will. True. He was a judge and a loyal servant to the empire. He lived his life as if he had been born a noble, and he never strayed from the path he had chosen. Also true. He sought to make the Brante family ennobled by the sword, so that our children's children might be of noble birth. I understand. Between Snow, I abided by my father's words all my life, even if I could not obey him every time. Father lets off a bitter chuckle as he says this. Yeah. Nathan and me were born of our shameful decision to marry a commoner. So it's a complicated situation, to say the least. All of you remember his disastrous passing. Oh yeah, I remember. He did not die the true death he deserved. Yet we all must know that he fought for the future he believed in to the very end. And he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with the sacrament of the nobility. Okay, what sacrament of the nobility? What do you mean? Okay. Father reaches into his jacket and pulls out a slender dagger, thin and sharp. He takes off his gloves. Watch me carefully, my sons. Make a small cut on the palm of your hand and let your blood flow into this duct on the wall of a crypt. It will join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. Then ancestor and progeny will become as one. We shall enter our family's blood tide and receive grandfather's final blessing, for his blood flows first in our blood tide. He will respond to you, you are part of him, and he is part of you. Okay, this is interesting. And nobles in this world have this special ritual, some kind of blood magic, where spirits of your dead ancestors can still converse with you and even help you on some occasions, even though all souls must go to the shining pillar when they die. I guess they descend from a shining pillar if need be. Okay, this is interesting. Father slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening in the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stefan. Stefan cuts his hand. I receive the dagger next. Okay. If I participate in this ritual, I will enter the Brante blood tide. I, a lowborn child who is still a commoner, will participate in a noble tradition. Am I ready to claim my legacy as a descendant of a nobleman Gregor Brante? Nathan will follow my example. So we can't bleed because we did not try to steal nobleman's sacrament back in our childhood. We can give the dagger back, basically refuse to participate, refuse to become a part of a blood tide, or we can ask for grandfather's blessing. Not because he likes us, he does not, but because we have high enough nobility. We showed enough nobility during our adolescence for grandfather to accept us as part of his blood. So this is a very important choice for Bran Brante because, as far as I know, the blood tide is pretty useless if you do not want to become a nobleman yourself. Like, what use is it for a priest or a commoner? No. If we enter our blood tide now, we will commit ourselves to the cause of nobility, first of all, and also we will commit ourselves to honoring the memory and wishes of our grandfather, even though we did not like him that much. I also want to say that this option is brilliantly constructed. As you can see, we can ask for grandfather's blessing because we are noble enough, but an important thing to notice is that parts of this nobility we accumulated were accumulated, in fact, by us standing up for Gloria in the court, convincing our father to stand up for Gloria, and stopping our grandfather, and preventing him from burning down our house. Actually, the very last point of nobility we need for this was obtained as we defied grandfather. This, in my opinion, adds a different layer to Gregor's character. For he does not like us, as you can clearly see here. He is indifferent to us. We insulted and defied him several times, but he was a stubborn and proud man. And he values this same stubbornness and pride in his descendants, in his grandson, in us. I think Gregor, as the man who basically clothed the nobility of the mantle from life, he thinks that stubbornness, pride, and principles are what makes a good nobleman. So even though he does not like us, he respects us enough to allow us a place in his blood tide. Sorry for this rambling, but I really appreciate how this game has so many layers, so many different interpretations, and I really appreciate how this particular choice is constructed, where we can ask for grandfather's blessing even though we departed with him on bad terms. This is great. So that's what I'm going to do. I grasp the dagger firmly, drag the blade across my palm, but before I allowed my blood to join the blood of my father and Stefan, Sir Gregor, will you give me your blessing to become a part of you? Will you allow me, your grandson Bran, to join the Brante blood tide, to become part of your bloodline? I hear Stefan's indignant sign. Yet my words are a token of respect for grandfather and his will. He deserves that much. I do not like him, but I respect him. He deserves this this ounce of respect. Should I obtain grandfather's blessing, Stefan will not defy the late patriarch. When suddenly we all freeze. Each of us hears my late grandfather speak to me. His voice, to us, he speaks to each of us individually. Separately, his voice is loud and it rings in the depths of the crypt. You had the courage to ask me for my blessing. Well, so be it. You deserve an answer. To me, you are not incorrigible. Oh, grandfather, I'm blushing. You are half lowborn, yet you may make a worthy nobleman one day. I shall allow you to join my blood tide. But know this, I will be watching you always, and my shadow will follow you forever. Do not let me down, boy. I think by do not let me down, he means that we must fulfill his wish and elevate our family to nobility of the sword. I think it's a very important scene for Bran Brante because he understands that from now on, he must commit to this worthy cause. He must do as his late grandfather, his ancestor, wished. He must do his duty to the family. Grandfather's voice falls silent. I glance at my father and brothers. Save for Stefan, everyone else is dumbfounded as well. I have grandfather's blessing. I hold my hand above the opening in the wall. My blood drips into the duct and flows further into the crypt, as it combines with the blood of my father and brother. Nathan's turn comes. He makes a cut, and his blood mixes with ours in the duct of the crypt. The ritual is complete. Stefan reverently kisses the grip of grandfather's sword and places it in the alcove above the sarcophagus. We leave the crypt together. Father stops halfway to the carriage and hugs Nathan and me briefly. Now our blood belongs to the dynasty of Sir Gregor Brante as well. So it's important to notice that the reason why blood tides are so important is because basically nobles of a sword obtain a form of immortality. Because this ritual is passed down from father to son, the specters of nobles of a sort, hereditary nobles, persist in this world and are able to converse with, bless, or help their descendants. Noble blood has actual magical properties in this world, opposed to the blood of commoners, which has no such properties. Okay, so this is a very important thing. We may not be nobles of a sort yet, but we are members of the same blood tide. We are members of the same noble dynasty, founded by Gregor Brante. Nice. And grandfather gave us his blessing, even though he died hating us. The poets. Oh, another special event. Today, me and Thomas are to explore the streets of a castle district. We delve deep into the districts, right to the old siege walls of Anizot. The city needs these walls no longer, because there are no more enemies left for the Empire to fight. Basically, the Empire has spread one sea to sea, bringing its rule and peace for many generations, and the Blessed Arcanian Empire is the only state in the known world. Well, we explore these ancient ruins. They say magic wielders during Char Milanides' rebellion could conjure gusts of fire with their own hands on these very walls. The rebellious duke fought against the emperor and the Church of the Twin Gods in the days of yore, but nothing remains of his rebellion now, save for scorched ruins and parched land throughout Magra. Hey, when we hear a muffled voice coming from somewhere below the ground, we look around and find a hole in the brickwork where the sounds are coming from. We take a peek. We see a half-ruined hole built below the ground and a handful of young men and women standing there in the dark. A young man is standing on a piece of crumbled wall reciting some of his poetry. It tells the story of a nobleman who fell into a puddle thanks to his gaudy cloak, and none of his noble bearing was of any help. He ends it with a farcical bow. I hear applause and laughter. Oh, a young girl takes his place. I cannot see her face in the darkness, but hers is a voice I could recognize anywhere. It is Gloria. My sister begins to recite a poem she has written. Nay, Gloria, yours is no proper life. You are to be a mother and a wife. Accept the kitchen apron for a gag, and lo, another voice now takes a crack. You are strained from your lot, you've got some nerve. Eyes down and be obedient and serve your husband, children, house, where are you absolute? Nay, Gloria, you are but rotten fruit. Mm, not very elegant poem, I guess, but it speaks from her heart, and that's what's important. I lean down to hear her better, but sand and stones fall from under my feet and into the hole. Gloria looks up and meets my gaze. Thomas pulls me away. So we're reading poems, imagine that. They sure hate nobles, and even Gloria. I never thought your sister could do that. But they're sure gonna get in trouble if they get spotted by an adult. Bad mouthing a noble will get you flogged into next week. Not to mention all the trouble you can get into for writing poems if you're a commoner. You'd better tell your sister to lay off. We'd better stay away from them too. Yeah, being around these people puts Gloria in great danger. It will not be easy to tell her this, though my sister is very stubborn. Mm. We return home, and during dinner Gloria will not look at me. Is she afraid or is she ashamed? These literary gatherings may spell danger for my sister, but for an illegitimate child like her there are so few ways to forge her own path. True. Dinner is over, soon me and Gloria are alone at the table. What am I going to tell her? I can convince Gloria to leave the society, basically convince her to abandon this dangerous hobby, or I can keep Gloria's secret and help her hide this hobby. Well, seeing as I helped Stefan's little love affair previously, though it was breaking some rules, some social conventions, it would be pretty hypocritical of me to not to do the same for Gloria. So no, I'm not going to rob her of this little pleasantry. And look, I wink at my sister and say, look, I promise to keep your secret. Your friends are not such bad poets, I must say. And by your poem, I was especially impressed. I'm kind of lying. I did not like her poetry very much, but that's not what's important. A big joyous smile appears on her face. I'm so happy, brother. I thought you were about to tell me to stop going there and say what mother says about my lot. Sis, come on. I'm nothing like my mother. But I'm glad you're not like that. Me and my friends. Without our poetry, we don't have anything else left. Nothing but our abysmal daily lives. At least we can laugh about it this way. Well, I am deeply offended that you find daily life with me and Nathan abysmal, but nonetheless, to get serious, your friends need to work much harder to hide your meetings. This secret passion could end badly for them if you get caught. I think you have to meet in a new place every time. I list of several abandoned places nearby where nobody will look for them. Look, if you ever come close to danger, I will be there to protect you, and do not worry about anything. Just hide better, and you will be fine. Gloria nods and plants a kiss of sisterly joy on my cheek. Oh, great! We now have a pretty firm sympathy from Gloria. She likes us. Gloria's secret. We discover the secret society of commoner poets. Gloria has joined. Nice. The fugitive girl. Okay, grandfather's passing and last respects have left a mark on the entire family. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in my mind. Indeed, because now I am beholden to his ideals somewhat. I must do what he wishes, what he asks me to do in this mortal realm. Now that he no longer has the power to do so. Okay, I spend more time with Thomas and my other classmates. The road by the house reminds me of another clash with death about Sophia and these terrifying horses. I have not seen her since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say her parents sent her to a rich Archnian family, the Ottons, as a servant. The sun has set, and I decide to visit Thomas, who is ill right now. I want to tell him the latest news. However, a young nobleman in a heavy cloak is walking back and forth, clutching at his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He is an Archnian. Sir Otton, the girl is not at home. We searched the house. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Eh? Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must, but bring my servant back to me. She is here. Dorius Otton, a haughty Archnian. So Sophia ran away from him? How can this be? There is only one place on the entire street where a person could hide, the abandoned Morel house, 4 houses away from mine. I had there doing my best not to attract attention. In this abandoned house, I glimpse a figure inside even before I enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. Sophia has grown up. She is almost an adult now, and her face is full of fear. She is not the easygoing girl next door that I remember. She recognizes me. Oh, it's you, Bran. Be quiet. They're all looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Otton. I might be in for a lesser death here, but I would rather die than spend another day in their slavery. I'm just a thing to him, just a toy to play with. I don't like the choice of words here. Like, did he do bad things to her, like abuse her in a sexual sense? Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the man I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Ottons. They don't want to be the target of our... Oh, Jesus, the commoners in this world. Like, you know what? Fuck commoners. Like, Bran Brante has actually met more nobles with admirable qualities than he has ever met commoners with admirable qualities. But, like, I know 2 normal commoners, like Sophia and Thomas. I do not count my family because my family is complicated. Okay. How can you not help your own child because you're too afraid? Like, she did not ask them to defy Otton or to rebel against him or to sue him in the court. Simply hide your own child. Help her to run away, to sneak away from an abusive master. What the fuck, people? Bran Brante at this point might actually believe this, like Stefan's and grandfather's stance that commoners are filth, because many commoners act like really shitty people here, man. Okay, the barking and shouting are getting closer. Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before I can answer. One of Otton's servants is so close I can hear his cloak swishing against the ground. He calls for the others. There are more voices around me now. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. Okay. If you're in the girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven and you will go back where you were, you know it. And if you don't, I will drag you out by the hair. Oh my god, this guy is terrifying. Okay, the hilt of the young Arknian's sword bashes at the door. He's about to lose his patience for good. Sophia hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. What will I do? She glances at me. Can I act against the Arknian's orders? Do I have the gall to defy the mighty nobleman? Okay, so I can hide alone, simply play a coward, and decide that I am not able to influence the fate of Sophia. I cannot bring Sophia back to Otton because I have already risked my life saving her once, so I am too brave a man to do such a shitty thing. What I can do, however, I can help Sophia flee because I am cunning enough, though it will cost me willpower, or I can try to stop Otton to defy him and experience matters of a heart, my first romantic feelings. My father advised me never to defy an Arknian because they are so high above us, they might just destroy us on a whim, as lowly humans, commoners especially. But well, I have already Bran Brante has already tasted what it's like to help those in need, what it's like to help and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Like me and Stefan, we protected Gloria from commoner fucks. I protected Gloria by advising her how to hide better. So no, I will in fact defy Otton. He is clearly a cruel and dishonorable Arknian, and I want to save Sophia from him. I pull myself together and walk slowly to the half-collapsed doorway. Sophia stays behind. The tall young Arknian stares me down, his condescending smile dripping with scorn. Sir, you will find no fugitive girl in this house. Thank you very much. What are you doing here, boy? I wasn't speaking to you. Out of my way. Otton needs no permission to enter, so he steps inside, but I stand in his way. Venerable Sir Otton, I have already assured you there is no one else inside. I have done you a great service, good sir. What makes you doubt my words? Why, you lowlife, how dare you stand in an Arknian's way? You must have lives to spare. Otton backhands me with immense strength enough to send me flying. The Arknian draws his sword, it rises into the air. Oh shit, he's so bloodthirsty, he's ready to kill a completely random commoner boy who just stood in his way. Well, then one of his men shouts, Sir, there she is! The Arknian turns around and briskly walks away. Sophia used my distraction to climb out the window in the back. I jump to my feet and escape the house in the same way. Sophia's slight silhouette is gaining distance far ahead. One of Otton's men is chasing her down, ready to catch her at any moment. But then something unbelievable happens. Eh? Sophia lets out a dreadful scream and the air around her sizzles with golden sparks. Otton's man falls to the ground, clutching his head. Sophia freezes for a second, as though uncertain of what she just did. What was that? Otton screams at her right next to me. So that's how it is, huh? The wench is a witch! Seize her! Magic? Sophia is a witch. She possesses this profane, evil dark art. Magic. Her silhouette disappears down an alleyway. Otton's man gives her chase, but they will never find her in the dark. I watch her go. Will I ever see her again? The runaway girl becomes the talk of my district for an entire week. The Ottons are furious. Sophia managed to flee the city. After this sudden appearance, she disappears from my life once more. I will not see her again until much, much later. So Sophia is sympathetic to us. She trusts us. My heroic act gave Sophia a faint glimmer of hope. She does not completely lose her faith in humanity, because there is at least one human who stood up for her and tried to protect her. And we actually experience our first romantic feelings about Sophia, because she was so daring and brave and kind of hot. And we did a heroic thing and saved her from harm. A romantic gesture, to be sure. The Bloodstained Sermon. Okay, so here's another not that important event for us. The Patriarch of New Faith, Patriarch Fotis, is giving a sermon on the main square of Anisot. And what he is about to say is the same thing that all priests of new faith speak of, that the lords are lies, that the lords are falsehoods, and the twins are watching from atop the shining pillar, but we do not follow their will by following the lords. Patriarch Fotis say that three lords of Isatius fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives. He says that we have seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath. That is true, but his logic is somewhat faulty. If you can change your lot, that does not mean that lots are completely irrelevant. You can simply change one lot to another, but you cannot be completely free of any lot. Anyway, Fotis says that every person born, whether human or Arcnian, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. Interesting. This is kind of similar to what I think, but so what else does he have to say? Let's listen. From now on, we will seek the gods in the accounts of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and in their own words as they echo within us. As we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own. Okay, truth be told, new faith seems very murky for Bran Brante. To reach the peak of the shining pillar, you must do what exactly? I mean, the old faith, the faith of the lots, cruel as it is, at least has some clear answers. Like, to reach the peak, you must follow your lot. Your lot is this. What does new faith suggest in exchange? Okay. A hoarse cry rises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are gonna till the fields and the commoners are gonna bear arms? The patriarch raises an arm and is ready to answer, but then he is suddenly murdered. He is stabbed to death by an unknown assassin. Ooh. Well, there's huge disorder in the crowd on the square. So the nobles draw their swords, dogs are barking, and basically the whole sermon goes to shit, turns into chaos. Me and Gloria, we go home after this blood-stained sermon indeed. This is unbelievable. A patriarch murdered in plain sight. The gendarmes and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without trace. I can't even imagine a more gruesome crime. Fotis has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my children. Once you are granted great power by the twins' will, so if you are the emperor or the overseer or the archduke or the patriarch, there is no hope for you to come back. not even after the first of your deaths. Emperors were powerful vassals, heads of great Archnean dynasties, patriarchs of the church. None of them are destined to be reborn. Oh, the heavy price for power. For this is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? Let us hope he managed to return to the true old faith before the moment of his passing. Yeah. So the order goes further down, and there is a further turmoil in the church. A clash between old faith and new faith, the faith of the lots and the faith of whatever. Tomorrow I turn 16. According to imperial law, I will be a full adult. My time at Sir Tiber's school has ended. I have studied enough to apply for the Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. I am to travel to Eterna, the capital, tomorrow. My friend Thomas will go there with me to try his luck in the Imperial capital too. Oh, okay. Mother and father prepare me for a long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows, maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the blue book and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then mother speaks to me carefully. But Robert, there may be another path for us, son. Stefan, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. I highly doubt that. For him, the path of a priest is a worthy calling, no less than a nobleman's sort. Our mother is very religious and pious. She really wants us to be the God's man, the God's servant. Okay, they have been arguing about my future for a while now. I smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their backs. Just don't become a snoot like Stefan and you'll do just fine. Not gonna happen, sis. Mar chides Gloria for that, and I wink at her. Nathan has been downcast all evening, he barely touched his dinner. When everyone gets up from a table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace me. Oh, bro, what's it? What's it? Please don't go, Bran. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. Oh, Nathan, look, I tousled his hair in response, but look, I can't stay right now. I must make something of myself. You see, I must make my family, you included, proud of my achievements. But when I come home, and I will come home, I will tell you all my stories. I will bring you a special present from Eterna, okay? Okay, all my lessons have been learned. All my things have been packed for the road. I will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is my last night at home before my departure. I walk through rooms one last time. The sitting room where mother used to read me fairy tales. The library where Gloria used to spend all her time. Father's study, which I entered only on special occasions. The backyard where I taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so familiar, so dear to me. It feels like home. I lived here for 16 years. It is getting late. Everyone is already in their rooms. Who will I spend my last few hours at home with? Well, there is not much choice. I can't spend the time with mother because I am very distant with my mother, to say the least. Like, I guess we are too different with our mother. Like, she is very religious. I am clearly not. She is humble and obedient. I am not. I am stubborn and defiant. She is content to live in humility. I want to rise above my lot. So, no love from mama. We can't spend time with Gloria because we are not that close. We are 1 point below the necessary conditions. Like, she's not that loving a sister, although she loves us a great deal. We can spend time with Nathan because Nathan loves us no matter what, and it will replenish our willpower. Or we can spend time with father because Robert loves us greatly. Like, we have maximum possible relations with our father. What is our... oh, Stefan is already also good. Like, we have sympathy with Stefan. Okay, I guess from the role playing perspective, it makes more sense to go to Robert because Robert is the family member we feel closest to. Our bond with him is the strongest one. That's what we're going to do. I find Father in his study reading a book. He has been like this for as long as I remember, always at his massive desk surrounded by books and papers and letters, reading or writing, as a civil servant he is. As I enter the study, Father looks up from his book and gives me an inquisitive glance. Father, if it doesn't trouble you too much, I wish to spend the night with you before I leave. Can you please tell me some stories about Eterna, your own studies? Maybe give me some advice? Father smirks at that as though he is plotting something. Have a seat, son. He reaches into a drawer and produces a decanter filled with rich golden liquid. Barley whiskey, a nobleman's drink. I think it would be good for you to try it. Oh, oh. And Father pulls out 2 glasses and pours a little of the liquid into each of them. I take my glass and bring it to my mouth. The whiskey stings my lips and palate. Father clearly savors the drink. Father tells me a long story about his studies at the Imperial College. He had to study among the sons of the richest nobles from all corners of the land. He was but a commoner back then, and he had his fair share of hardships. Tell me, Father, the capital, living there, what was it like? He says it was difficult, dangerous, and full of temptation. You will have your share of time in high society as well. I hope the company of nobles won't lead you astray, son. You didn't go to a boarding school like your elder brother, but I believe a good education and a good family still stand for something. Now, what else can I tell you before you leave? Father recalls the balls held in the capital when he was a youth. He even stands up from a desk and shows you a couple of moves. The dancing was incredibly modest, all bows and side steps, no touching between the dance partners. But then again, he chuckles. Those were the days when a fair lady could steal your heart with a single glance. Oh, I know that feeling by now. In fact, I know it. I have known it twice. First, when I saw this beautiful Arcanian princess, Octavia Milanitas, and then later when I saved Sophia from danger. After Father mentions dancing, he starts speaking of something he has never mentioned to me before. Stefan's late mother and his first wife, Amalia Elborn. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. I listen to his every word, surprised by this show of trust. Oh, Amalia Elborn was the noble bird of prey of Anizat, and the ballrooms were her hunting ground. Everyone thought they could tame her. Your grandfather saw her just once, and then he was off to Baron Elborn to negotiate the marriage. I was impressed by her, and I was so proud of myself. And yet... Oh, so our grandfather Gregor actually did something good to his family. He arranged the marriage of his son to this beautiful woman. So what happened to her? I expected Amelia to be reborn after childbirth, but it did not happen. Sometimes when people in this world die of sickness, they are also not reborn. They die through death, then and there. And when I recall it now after so many years, I see that the gods arranged it this way. Otherwise, I would have never started a family with your mother. Oh, how much I had to suffer for marrying Lydia. But she alone is the true heart of our family. I understand, Father. The sun is about to rise. I should rest before the long trip. Before he leaves for his bedroom, Father embraces me tightly. I am so proud you're an adult now, son. You are capable of achieving so much. Always remember that. I will, Father. I promise. I get into bed, my head spinning slightly. This midnight talk with Father, was it about my future or his past? Regardless, it will remain in my memory for years to come. Our father loves us greatly, and nobility becomes our main stat, as you can see here. Like we are moderately spiritual and cunning, but nobility is our forte. Nice. I leave the family home for a long time. My future awaits me in Eterna, the capital of the empire. The end of adolescence. Oh, so this is the end of a chapter. Last night was my final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take me to the capital. I take one more look at my parents' house and recall my childhood spent there in the nearby yards, at my school, and on the winding streets of Anisot. I clashed with a greater world around and survived. I felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. I was taught by the school and the streets. I explored the city of my birth and learned something of its past. I witnessed first-hand events that will be remembered by history for all time. Kinda, I guess. I saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and the true death that takes and never gives back. I saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. I saw grandfather's angry face lit by the flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and my older brother's bloody sword slicing through the air. Death has followed me from a very young age. And yet, I live on. I have a friend who has been by my side all these years. Thomas taught me many things: how to take a hit, how to keep my word, how to remain true to my own self, and how to be an ungrateful, shitty bastard, I guess, because I betrayed him in our adolescence, but nonetheless, we remain friends. I guess the game assumes that you are not going to be such a shithead to Thomas, but I was. Yeah. Mm, Yet now Thomas is walking to the same carriage as me, with a heavy bag slung over his shoulder. He will remain my companion for the time being. That's nice to know. Ahead of me is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For the first time, I will be away from my family and home. What awaits me in the future? So, this ends chapter 2 of this game. And the great thing about this is that we basically unlocked all the special events in this chapter, with the exception of this. We did not experience a revelation of the silver tree, but I think it's not that important to us because it's more important to the priest, I guess, to the spiritual person, and we are not that spiritual. All the other events unlocked. We are very close with all our siblings. It is good to unlock all the events about your siblings in this chapter because, well, it's genuinely nice, and also it unlocks several interesting choices later. And we joined the blood tide of a Brante family and experienced the first romantic feelings too. Okay, let's see. Let's start the third chapter, Youth.
Leaving my hometown behind, I set out for the capital of the empire. There, I would discover my role in society.
Alright, we are starting chapter 3 now. Okay, so there is another description about how we are leaving home. Our younger brothers are chasing after us. Ahead lies Eterna, the imperial capital. What kind of life awaits us there? Okay, it's, yeah, the important thing here is that our family counts on us, even though they all wish a different future for us. Basically, each member of a family has a vision for us, what they want us to become. Our father and elder brother want us to become a nobleman like them. Our mother and younger brother Nathan want us to become a man of faith. And Gloria wants us to become a rebel, I guess. Someone who fights against the injustices of this world. Okay, so here we have new personal qualities of ours, which will remain with us for the rest of our life. Diplomacy. Most important to the judge, a nobleman, it is our proficiency in the laws of the empire as well as our connections and influence among the ruling elite and high society. Oh, we have a moderate manipulation, a very weak theology. We are very weak, versed in matters of faith. Our valor is pretty good, I must say. We know swordplay reasonably well. Our scheming is not that bad, actually. We have a talent for inciting riots, organizing ambushes, and plotting murders, assaults, and sabotage. I can't imagine why we would need this. And our eloquence is So, as far as I can see, uh, out of all out of three paths we can take in this chapter, path of a nobleman is the most likely to us because we we have a pretty high stats for needed for a judge for a nobleman. So I think that's what we are going to become. Path of a priest actually is completely locked to us right now because we are very ignorant in matters of faith, and path of the lotless to remain in the common estate is possible, I guess, but we will see about that. We will see what we can do about that. However, I think this beginning of the third chapter is a good cliffhanger to end our current session. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this continuation of our little story, the life story of Bran Brante. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, ringing the bell, pushing thumbs up, or leaving something nice in the comments. See you later, and take care.